I think Conor Benn beats him.
Yeah.
You know, the same when I fought Froch, I had to fight Froch, but I had to fight Eddie Hearn. I had to sort of battle a little bit with Sky Sports, I had to battle with the other press, I had to battle with the British Boxing Board of Control. Like, highly admire Crawford, but surely he wouldn't have beat me. Super middleweight, surely I'd have done him.
All right, fight fans, Sporting Talk and Fight Lens are back for a monthly preview and review with the man George Groves. George, thanks for joining us. How have you been?
I'm great, thank you, Aaron. Yeah, good to see you.
Good stuff. Lucas Roehrig, your protege, was back in action at the weekend. Another win, 6 pro wins now, 4th round stoppage at the end of the round. How's he looking? I mean, it's looking great as a prospect right now, isn't
he? No, he's doing great. You know, to get him to 6-0 in a space of 9 months, I think it is. It's great. You know, you want him to be active. He's had the summer off, but we've been in the gym, you know, consolidating, improving, and I think he showed that with his performance Saturday night. He was in there with a tough guy, a big tough guy comes over, Vlad from, I can't remember his last name, bad Vlad.
Yeah,
and
Vlad
you know,
from,
we've seen him over here. He's boxed over here. He's boxed Ben Whittaker. He's boxed Carol Itauma and a few others. So he's moved up to cruiserweight now. But yeah, Lucas put in a much more mature performance, broke him down as you want him to do behind the jab, didn't take no silly shots this time, and forced the retirement after 4 rounds.
Good stuff. And the plan is to get him out twice more before the end of the year, keep the momentum rolling?
Yeah, you know, I don't like to over-promise and under-deliver for him. He's definitely got one in about 6-7 weeks' time, which should be announced real soon. Cool. He's fighting with Wasserman, and I think they're yet to announce their date, but yeah, he's going to be on that one, and then if we can squeeze one in before Christmas, that's always nice. Okay. And then you can have your Christmas dinner in peace.
Yeah. All right.
So if we can get him to 8-0 before the end of the year, moving up to 8 rounders now as well. So he's only 22, sort of slow and steady because he had a good amateur career, but you know it wasn't extensive. Boxing non-stop since he was 11, travelled the world for England, anything like that. So
not too many miles on the clock, and next year you can really push him on, I suppose, is the plan. Yeah. Right, I'm going to spring these on you. I've just remembered, I've got to ask you a couple of poker questions. So how much does a boxer's mentality factor into a poker player's strategy? Because we know you love a bit of poker.
Yeah,
I've seen you take down the Cobra and a few others.
Oh yeah, if only. So I think the poker players, the ones that I've seen and some advice they give me, they're uber clinical, you know, and they take emotion out of the situation. They know the odds because they've seen the cards and they've done the maths in their brain. Yeah. And maybe they are hoping for the best every now and again. And of course, they're trying to throw everyone else off on the table, and that is boxing as well. Yeah. So never let them know what you're thinking. Never let them know what's next.
Yeah. Never let them know your next move.
So I think there's a lot of crossover with the two. Sadly, in poker, you know, you could have the best hand before the flop, you go all in, someone bluffs, flops, whatever, still wins, you can't punch them in the face. But in boxing, you can. It doesn't matter how badly the build-up is, you still want to keep your emotions in check, but come fight night, you do get to punch that person in the face. Yeah. So I think, I'm not saying they need to bring it into poker. I think that the reason it's not in poker is probably why it's very good. Yeah. But if anything, it's like I marvel at that they can hold their cool when you haven't done anything wrong.
Some of those bad beats when you see people wanting to punch the table or something.
Some people are lucky, don't they? Just get the cards.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Do boxers tend to use mind games in poker like they do in the ring? You kind of just covered that there, I suppose. But yeah, kind of bluffing and feinting.
I quite think so. I mean, I think maybe boxers are a little bit too ballsy when it comes to poker. So. Or maybe they like the feint a little bit too much, and the wise guys know, they see it coming.
They read it.
Ain't there, yeah. Or just they've done the maths and they're like, if you're bluffing or not, I'm still in a strong position. Boom, where we go. But it moves quicker, an open poker game, like when you're playing at the table, you know, face to face as well. It wasn't trash talk, but any sort of talk felt like trash talk. Go, oh really? Yeah. And obviously there is that added pressure of it's not a team game, but you could mess it up for everyone else on the table if you're, you know, doing silly calls or whatnot.
Yeah, playing that position and stuff like that. It's
not
true.
quite as bad as like blackjack, but still.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Obviously, a tragic time in boxing recently when Ricky Hatton passed away. True icon, gave us incredible memories. What are your memories of him as a boxer and a person?
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very, very sad to lose Ricky Hatton at such a young age.
Yeah, 46, so young, so young.
I think my first memories of Hatton were watching him on TV. I remember getting on the bus to school. You know, I recently got Sky, I think, and maybe my dad had decided we could have Sky so we could watch the boxing. At the time, it was Ricky Hatton, and it felt like he was fighting every month.
Yeah.
I had no real concept of, you know, Manchesterine. What does that mean? There's a lot of people. What does that mean? But he was going through the ranks. You know, he had a world title at the time, but it wasn't one of the major four. And again, at 14, I didn't really understand that. But going through the ranks, and then remember when he beat Costa-Zoo, and everyone saying, I was like, he's had 10 world title fights already. It's like, no, this is a different sort of world title fight.
He was underdog in that, wasn't he?
I think he was, yeah. Obviously, he had home advantage, and, you know, Costa-Zoo was at the end of his career, but it was a magnificent achievement for him. And then really just blew him up. We was training in Sheffield for, it was either England or GB, maybe GB by then, when he fought Mayweather, and we all got up in the early hours to watch that fight.
Yeah, huge swathes of Mancunians flying out there to back him, weren't there?
I mean, I was again too young. Like, I'm jealous of them stories of, you know, people travelling to Vegas to watch him box, and he was in there with a master, Floyd Mayweather. So came up short that night, but I was at his return fight. I just signed with David Hay, and he kindly sponsored a trip for me and my friend to go to Manchester. We watched him at the
City of Manchester Stadium, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he boxed. Who did he box? He boxed American guy. Paulie Malignaggi was on the undercard, so that was set up for the next fight. And he won, and he came out in a Ricky Hatton dressing gown, which was just like a fat suit. So always the prankster, always fun, and always entertaining. You know, anytime I boxed in Manchester with David Hay, he would, you know, let us use the gym, take care of us, and, you know, when to see him on the circuit after we both retired, you know, he's always been so entertaining.
Yeah,
you know,
great character, large than life.
People gravitate towards him. So, tremendous loss for boxing. Yeah,
very sad, very sad. But what a legacy he's left with us. Canelo and Crawford, what a fight it was. I can't remember your prediction, but obviously Bud came through, kind of unexpectedly dominant performance, really.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Canelo would be
too powerful,
too big. Yeah, you know, when you see the height, there's not a lot of height difference, but you just think the physicality of Canelo, who's boxed at super middleweight and been so dominant against, you know, big guys, big super middleweights like Callum Smith and Caleb Plant. You know, he's been in there. He didn't win against Bivol, but he went in and stopped Kovalev. You know, there has to come a point where you think Crawford couldn't stop Kovalev, could he? Surely not. But I think when they get in the ring, sometimes, you know, the skill of boxing is such a factor. You know, Crawford could sit in range, trade shots with Canelo, and he was just that much more of a complete fighter on the night. You know, he was able to, his feet were better, you know, his hand speed was better, his punch output was better.
Some of those combinations were dazzling, really.
Yeah.
I don't think Canelo had ever seen anything kind of like it coming at him, really.
No, and it's having confidence at the elite level, because sometimes it's throwing that extra shot at the end of an exchange that you might either at worst miss and it's energy taxing, you know, or you could get caught. You know, you could get, and that's actually at worst you could get caught at the end of that. You know, you make a miss and then you get paid, but he wasn't. And time again, he'd just finish off with a, you know, big solid straight left down the pipe or whatnot, knock Canelo's head back, or even if he looks or pulls away, you can see his face as he turns back. You know, he ain't a good poker player, is he? Canelo,
no.
He left it all to show that he was frustrated, and I think, you can only highly praise Crawford.
Do you think there's anyone in the division that can hang with Crawford now? Or where is he in the pound for pound rankings for you now? He's got to be.
I'll put him in at number 1 pound for pound because he's not a super middleweight and he went up and beat the super middleweight.
Yeah.
It's like Canelo. This makes boxing so peculiar because Canelo's sort of beating everyone at super middleweight, but you think if there's a big super middleweight out there, could Crawford have beat him? And at the moment, you're struggling to find the super middleweights stars.
Yeah.
But if it was, not that long ago,
the division was packed not so long ago, wasn't it? Really?
David Benavidez or something, you think, Benavidez surely way too big to, I just think I highly admire Crawford, but surely he wouldn't have beat me. Super middleweight, surely I'd have done him. Well, and the same with, maybe DeGale would back himself. I'm sure those are the big super middleweights who are. Yeah,
you'd feel like you had the power over him.
Or
you'd bully him around the ring.
You keep it at long range and stuff like that. But I don't know. I'm not sure where Crawford goes from here. I'd be more than happy for him to call it a day. It'd be sad never to see him box again, but without anyone else to fight and coming back down to welter or even light welter might be difficult now at this stage. So
kind of feel a bit of a letdown for him in terms of the spectacle of that fight going back down to kind of.
Well, you're hearing Golovkin's moving about coming back. Is Golovkin thinking, I know what I can do, I'll come out and I'll give Crawford a go, give him a run for his money. Maybe he thinks he can beat him. I mean, that's
our headline there.
Yeah, Crawford against Triple G.
Yeah.
If does Triple G need a warm-up fight or not? Maybe he does. Maybe he should.
Yeah.
But
that could be a blockbuster next year, next summer. Stay tuned, find out. You mentioned James DeGale there. Did you see he came back in a bare knuckle match?
He did. James, poor James. Like he
loves it. Doesn't need the money. He just loves fighting, I guess.
Yeah, doesn't need the money. He told us time and time again it wasn't for money. But I've got to be honest. Like, if I did it, it would be for money. If any other ex-fighter I know would do it for money. You're not doing it for that buzz of being in the arena. Stick to boxing or stick to something else, you know.
That's it. Bare knuckles brutal. Man.
Bare knuckles brutal. You're not fight. I mean, I don't know who the chap is. He's an Aussie boxer or something. Wasn't, Floyd. He wasn't the best. And the fight itself was very scrappy. Maybe it was to be expected with bare knuckles. They're falling into each other, holding. The little fella was headbutting him, which weren't good. He had some points taken off. So, I think I've seen a statement since from DeGale's mum saying that, bare knuckle boxing ain't for James. He's had a go and it was good. And I'm sure in the build-up, he didn't do too many interviews, but he did a few. He was on TalkSport and he's talking about hoping to box in Misfits or get a Darren Till fight or a KSI fight. Mm-hmm. It's tough, man, because you're Olympic champion, you're former world champion, but is your name big enough to get those fights right now? And
people are going to probably be fearful of him because he's such a good boxer. Right?
Yeah, they could be, but I don't think anyone would be fearful of him watching him at the weekend.
No,
do you know what I mean? It's good on him at his age. He's pushing 40 now to get himself back in shape and have a go. 5 2-minute rounds. But from what I saw of it, it didn't set the world alight. If he'd knocked the guy out in a minute and a half, it was a spectacular knockout. And it was like, oh look, James DeGale is back.
Yeah.
Then he's in the mix. And then maybe people are worried about fighting him, as opposed to at the moment, it's like, I don't know. I maybe should stick with a bare knuckle. It's a new, or it feels like a new concept, a new thing.
It's kind of getting bigger, but I don't know. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, isn't it?
I wouldn't have a bare knuckle fight just so I could meet Conor McGregor.
No.
I think there's more to life. There's more to the experience than that. Than Conor McGregor talking to you.
100%. Yeah. Should we talk about Dana White for a minute and his plans for boxing? Because he's revealed that Zuffa Boxing will have its own belts and will not recognise the other sanctioning bodies. So are we entering a 5-belt era now? I mean, it seems to be opposite to what a lot of boxing fans. Zuffa, yeah.
What does that stand for?
I don't know.
We don't actually work it out.
ZUFFA. It can't stand for anything, can it? I think it's
Zuffa?
Zuffa.
Someone paid for it?
Maybe. Could be.
Zuffa?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
sure.
we'll work it out. We'll work it out by the end.
Zuffa Boxing has also signed a long-term broadcast deal with Paramount in the Americas, USA, Canada, and South America.
Are they showing any live sport at the moment, Paramount?
Not to my knowledge, unless they got the football on, I think, haven't they? Is that NBC and Paramount? Is that showing the Premier League in America? I don't know.
Yeah, there's been some major mergers out there, and it seems like these big companies, big conglomerates are merging. You know, I mean, my limited knowledge is through what I see online and what I read and the Vince McMahon documentaries, but I think boxing's always ready for a shake-up. You know, there's always it's withstood so many different concepts. Even in my short time in boxing, comparative to the journey of boxing, you know, whether it be the massive investment that came from DAZN and Matchroom recently, or before that PBC and Al Heyman, and before that MTK coming in and loads of money being invested, and then World Boxing Super Series that was going to be the new tournament forever, and that had a $50 million pot to, you know,
distribute.
I thought I was going to get that for winning. It turned out no, that's split amongst all the fighters.
Yeah,
I was like,
sold you down the river a bit there.
Mama. But,
still did all right out of it.
But this Dana White, you know, he gets people interested, you know, and if they create fights that are interesting, that's great. But I don't know, you know, a loss in boxing does take its toll, and now as fighters, you know, you box 2-3 times a year. You don't box 5-6 times a year. So setting up sort of a league would be very difficult within pro boxing, and matching these guys hard all the time will be difficult too. You know, so we don't want to go down the route of elite level fighters who are always on the A side, hand-picking opponents, and it's never and you know we want this fight, and it can't happen. And sometimes it might be because they're with rival promoters or rival broadcasters. I think that we've turned a corner with that now. Yeah. So it's exciting. It's really exciting if it comes in. I would more than welcome it, but I don't know enough about it right now. But they talk. They're not talking big by talking big. If you know. It's like, you haven't seen anything yet. Yeah. It's like, okay, I'm waiting. I can't wait to see it. Yeah.
And that's it. The landscape's always changing in boxing. But now we've seen Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. They've signed another deal with Turki Al-Sheikh for boxing and 2 other sports, which they haven't revealed, which presumably will be darts and snooker. But yeah, it just seems like kind of monopolising and conglomerates.
We should have crossover sports now. We should have boxers playing darts against professional darts players, snooker players fighting boxers.
Get Ronnie O'Sullivan a pair of gloves on.
Yeah, like it could all just be, or teams. You know, you could pick. You know, if you had Ronnie O'Sullivan,
someone from darts, Bob Cross,
and then you've got Johnny Fisher, right? They're the team, right? And everyone thinks you're going to pick Johnny Fisher for boxing, but actually he's not bad at darts. You put him in at darts, and
so he gets in there. Starts throwing 180s.
Yeah. So happen. I think there's bringing the tactical element to it. There could be something in that. I don't know. If we do it, then I'm happy to lead from the front. And,
team Captain Groves.
Yeah.
Did you see Amir Khan has taken it upon himself to promote boxing events in Africa? There's an event in Lagos tonight. Rocky Fielding is headlining up against Brandon Glanton. So, you know, good on Amir taking it out there.
Yeah. He's got, I didn't know he had a connection to the African continent. And I saw some of these guys getting mentioned, and I'm sure Rocky Fielding was boxing recently, maybe in the Middle East or something. So he spends time out there as well. But that's exciting. You know, and hopefully we get to see it. The broadcaster picks it up. And,
it'd be good. So there's been talk of AJ fighting out there as well, hasn't there?
Yeah, I think the guys with African heritage. You know, I thought Dan Aziz was scheduled to go out there. Joshua Buatsi spoke about boxing out there for quite a while. Yeah, Joshua. It wasn't going to be Nigeria. It was going to be somewhere else. Eddie Hearn said this week.
Congo, was it? Maybe or somewhere.
Maybe. And just do some big shows out there. Could be good. Could be really good.
Be huge fight fans out there. Moses Itauma rejected an IBF final eliminator fight against Frank Sanchez that would have led to a world title challenge against Alexander Usyk. Kind of from his point of view, maybe coming too early, because I think he's talking now about facing Michael Hunter or David Adelaide. So maybe that's his stepping stone progression towards the eliminator fight. Is that how you'd kind of wanted to see his career progress?
Yeah, I can see why at his age he doesn't want the pressure of having to fight Usyk imminently, and therefore if he doesn't do that, then it's much worse to win the eliminator than pull out than just take the eliminator now. If he's on a different route, he's on a different route. That's his plan. I think Sanchez fight would be a really good fight. He might be someone who stretches Itauma for a few rounds. I'll see him fight out in Saudi, and he got beat by
Caballero, was it?
Yeah, Caballero, but a very good operator.
Yeah.
And
body shots, wasn't it, that did him in the end, I think?
Yeah. I think it could have been. I was go back through the memory archive. But
it was a good
but also
fight.
the Michael Hunter fight is he's a quality operator, Michael Hunter. You know, David Adelaide, if it's a Brit, it's always going to do good. But Michael Hunter has boxed at a high level for a long time. He's got some surprising wins on his record and never really got picked up, never really got promoted rightly. I think he never got a big shot at one of the major titles. So he could be a bogeyman. He might be the one to give Itauma a few rounds. Yeah,
because at the moment he's just knocking everyone out so rapidly, isn't he?
Yeah.
Hasn't really got any miles on the tank at the moment. What's next? Floyd Mayweather's been in the news recently to say that Prince Nassim is the most underrated British boxing icon. Any other criminally underrated boxers? Do you think Nassim didn't get the plaudits he deserved?
I would have thought he got a lot. At
the time,
didn't he? Yeah,
didn't
at the time, and you know, he didn't. You know, we don't see him week in, week out in boxing. So you know, people sometimes forget that's what boxing does. It moves on. But I remember it was a big thing at the time. But this is like the 90s, isn't it? And I suppose he was one of a kind, almost unique style, very effective. But we didn't see enough of him really either, because he boxed Barrera and got beat, and then that was it.
Never saw him again.
So
really,
we're like, oh, is that the way to beat Naz? No one done it beforehand. Maybe no one could have done it beforehand, but yeah. So I think that's nice of Floyd to say something nice about someone else, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a rarity from Floyd. Yeah. So have you had a chance to watch the Matchroom Sport documentary yet on Netflix? You managed to get that one?
Yeah, I've watched sort of bits and it was on in my house, and I've seen most of it. So I liked it. I think didn't see the first episode, maybe it was the first two episodes. I can't remember where I came in. I maybe came in halfway through the third. It's called The Greatest Showman, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? Which I like because these guys, you know, Eddie and Barry are the showmen.
Yeah, live and breathe it. Yeah.
But then what does showman mean? Because like if you watch the Greatest Showman, right, which is the movie with Hugh Jackman and that, lots of it's a bit of a con, isn't it?
Yeah,
Don't you think?
Kind of deceptive.
It's a bit deceptive, yeah. It isn't quite what it seems. And I like that because that's what they did in the show. And then some people it might go over their head, some people it might not. So like when Conor Benn is calling up to say, I've passed my test, I'm cleared my name, and Eddie and Frank Smith are on the golf course. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was exquisite. So, you know, maybe the bearded lady ain't really bearded lady. Maybe the world's fattest man doesn't weigh 700 pounds, he only weighs 250 pounds. And maybe when Conor Benn's sitting there in a Versace dressing gown and says, I spent every penny I've got on clearing my name. Maybe bought that Versace dressing gown first.
Maybe.
I like you, Conor.
Maybe
I think you're going to win this rematch. So
yeah, that's going to be my next question, actually. Yeah. How are you sizing it up? Because obviously you didn't even think it was worthy of a rematch after the first match. Have you changed your views on that one?
I just thought it was a brilliant story. I enjoyed it wholeheartedly, thoroughly, every last bit of it. And considering it felt like for so long it was never going to happen, it is happening again. To the Greatest Showman, Barry says to Eddie, how's your meeting with Turki Al-Sheikh? And he says, lovely. They want to do 5-5, and he wants a Conor Benn fight. And it cuts to Conor Benn passing, which was great, wasn't it? What a stroke of luck that was. You know what I mean? Couldn't have asked for more.
Couldn't have worked out better.
Couldn't have worked out better.
Yeah.
But I think Conor Benn will be better the next time round. I think Eubank may be better, maybe the same, maybe not. He's got Bomac, which is a difference. There was grumbles about the weight making, I'm sure getting fined $500,000 for less than a tiddlywink. Like,
He managed to blame that on Eddie Hearn somehow, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, well, it's whoever's fault it was. I mean, he left it to the death to make the weight. So
they sent Billy Joe Saunders to his dressing room, didn't he, to try and wind him up, banging on the door. And remember, and they had the big security guard there.
I saw that bit. Yeah.
I can't remember how exactly he blamed that on Eddie Hearn, but he found a way.
If I'm Eddie Hearn, I'll do the same. Do you know what I mean? You've got to do these things. You've got to give advantages for your team and your fighter.
That's it.
So there's no harm, no foul there.
No.
But I think maybe Conor Benn beats him. I think if I was Eubank, my point was at the time, I was like, mate, like you have just climbed your Everest. You've just headlined a stadium. You've beat what is now a rival. Spectacular fashion in terms of getting the win with your dad by your side and all the hooting and hollering that went on amongst it. You can't top that feeling, like that feeling.
The adrenaline,
You won't be able to top that feeling. So I don't begrudge you if you want to earn more money out of the sport, but be careful because you look way past his best. A guy who's naturally a lot bigger than Conor Benn should have been able to be much more comfortable in that fight than he was. He wasn't. So maybe Conor Benn's better next time.
He'll be hungry, surely, like you said.
Yeah, so Conor Benn wins and his career goes on. Like if Conor Benn loses, then he's back on the hustle, isn't he? Then he's hustling other big names for big fights. He's got a big name so he can secure big fights, but he needs to get back to winning ways. Eubank might win again and go, oh, that's me done then. Or mate, he can't. Is he going to fight Crawford with the same coach? Is he going to fight Canelo? I don't think Canelo would be interested in that fight.
No.
So I don't know. If it comes down to desire, you've got to think that Conor Benn wins.
Yeah, he wants it, doesn't he, more, you would think, but we'll have to wait and see. There's been a lot of noise around how Eubank conducted himself in the press conference. I think that Ricky Hatton was brought up and he kind of spoke over Eddie Hearn when he was trying to talk about that, but other people were saying it's Eddie Hearn trying to twist that. What do you think about Chris Eubank's attitude in general towards boxing and the Hearns?
I didn't see that press conference, to be honest. But I can gather it was much of the same from the first time I saw it, where he doesn't want Eddie Hearn to talk. It's difficult sometimes being a one-man band, trying to lead from the front, trying to control everything, control all the narratives.
Can you relate to that though in a bit?
That's what I said. I did. The same when I fought Froch. I had to fight Froch, but I had to fight Eddie Hearn. I had to sort of battle a little bit with Sky Sports. I had to battle with the other press. I had to battle with the British Boxing Board of Control. There was a lot I had to take on.
You did it very well. I think you did it obviously in your own way, whereas Chris Eubank Jr. is doing it a bit more of a loudmouth way. You did it kind of more.
Yeah, well, everyone's got their own style, and he's got the attitude of someone who's been trod on, who's not being being screwed over, who's not being looked after, and but it's funny when I did it. People were like, stop whinging, boy, because I had no chance of winning in many people's eyes. That's at least how I felt it was being interpreted. Whereas Eubank, lots of people thought he should win and will win, and he had a lot of popularity going into that first fight because of the controversy of the whole Benn situation and then getting granted, being able to box. So, and he didn't shy away from that. He egged him at the press conference. You know what I mean? So, I think he likes it. I think, if anything, Eubank, he takes pleasure in them little situations, and sometimes it means a lot to fighters, to get those little wins that maybe the general public or even his wider team don't get, but he gets. Maybe one or two others get.
Final prediction for the fight?
I think Conor Benn beats him.
Yeah.
I think Benn. I might change my mind. I might change his mind. Might stop him. Yeah. I thought he caught him early-ish in that first fight. Not like mega, but he caught him and couldn't go again.
Couldn't capitalize.
He's got to make some major adjustments, Conor Benn. He can't fight the same as he did the first time. He's given away a bit of height and have a better jab, much better jab, and better feet, you know. And when he's inside, he needs to work with better shot selection, because without watching the first one back for a long time now, trying to think, I just remember him being lots of dynamic movement and lots of springing in, but not creeping in, and that gets tiring. And when the bigger guy's there and he's laying on you, and then you end up just trading with him, you come out unstuck.
Second
and
best, yeah.
you know, he doesn't have, you know, that level of pedigree, Conor Benn. You know, he turned pro with limited experience, and he's had lots of time out of the ring. So he's 28 years old now, I think, or he's late 20s. He's mature. He's probably in his physical peak. If he gets his boxing style tactics spot on, he beats Eubank. Beats him quite comfortably.
But it's do or die really for him now at this point of his career. Let's talk about Joe Parker and Fabio Wardley. Fight coming up in October the 25th. Lots of people are backing Parker. You can understand why. He's done it all really, apart from won a world title in recent times. Fabio Wardley, what does he need to do to win? He can't rely on his normal tactics in this fight, can he?
I don't know. He's got that never say quit attitude, and fighters will be fearful of that within him.
The fist of fury.
Yeah, he's got like a bit of get out of jail card about him. You know, the Honey fight, he was getting beat, and he caught him. He done the job, and I think he probably realises that, you know, he's doing well. He's done really well for himself. Fabio Wardley maybe boxing at a higher level than he ever thought he could. This is another step up, I think, against Joseph Parker.
Big time, I think.
Big step up against Joseph Parker. We've seen him on the floor before, so he can get hurt. But I think if he's in the gym and he's feeling good and he's still driven and hungry to become a world champion one day, you'll see the best, like we have been seeing, of Joseph Parker. So I think I'll make Parker the favourite, but I'm looking forward to that fight. It'll be a really good fight.
Should be a really good fight. Right, quick couple questions to wrap it up. Have you seen Eddie Hearn's video he put out of UCAD apparently interrupting his meal with AJ in Dubai to randomly drug test Joshua? Shouldn't that be allowed, considering AJ hasn't got a fight coming up, or if you're enrolled in the program, you can be tested at any time? Is that how it works?
Yeah, I think so.
You're the ambassador, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm the ambassador for UCAD, so let me just tell you everything you need to know about it. No, I think they have a limited number because it's very expensive, but the highest profile and the champions of British boxing will be enrolled in anti-doping, and essentially they can just show up at
anywhere you are.
You know.
Really, yeah.
But the likelihood is they'll come to the place you're sleeping at, so usually your house, in the early hours of the morning, as in 6 o'clock in the morning. They want to catch you before you've woke up and had a piss, because they just, you wake up, you have a piss, and then they show up, and then you've got to sit around and wait for an hour in case you need another piss, So that's the idea behind
that's
it.
The plan, right?
To come and get you whilst having a meal, I don't know anyone who's had to do that before, but maybe good on them, good on UCAD. Do you know what I mean? It is an inconvenience, and it always feels like it's a personal attack when it's you, but it's not. There's been times when my doorbell's gone at 6 a.m, the dog has started barking, the newborn baby started crying, and my poor wife, who hasn't slept all night, is screaming at a UK anti-doping chap that, which ain't his fault.
It's just there to do his job.
Something I can't remember. There was, to be fair to my wife, there was something to it which I can't remember. She had legs to stand on in terms of screaming at him, but they do this. I dislocate
ringing the doorbell constantly.
Wake
up, George.
Yeah, my ambulance got held up when I dislocated my shoulder to go to the hospital. Like Eubank saying that there were people trying to hold up his ambulance because UCAD guy had to follow me around. He had to know where I was going.
Even when you're in an ambulance?
Yeah, I'm in the ambulance. So where is he going? And it was only a little bit, and it is what it is. And he came to the hospital. I was put under, shoulder popped back in, and then he was explaining to him that I'm very sorry, but you ain't got a chance in hell of getting piss out of him tonight.
No.
You know.
That's insane.
And then I think I saw him the next morning, and then they came Monday morning as well.
Really?
So came to the house Monday
up.
morning. So, you know, they covered all bases. That's their job. You know,
it's
almost even. It's much more disturbing or outraging when someone gets something past them. Do you know what I mean? Someone gets away with something.
Yeah.
So you give them a bit of a break.
Well, it's for the integrity of boxing at the end of the day.
Exactly that, yeah.
That's fair enough. All right, final question. Are there any boxing pundits or sports pundits in general that really wind you up?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Quite a few by the sounds of it.
No.
Boxing's had a few well-known kind of wind-up merchants over the years, really. Semi-wind-up. Steve Bunce.
Wind me up. No, I like Steve. Done a lot of work. Do a lot of work with Steve.
Yeah.
You know, each have got their own sort of flavour.
Yes,
Steve is very broad. You know, he does a lot of work for like I would usually work with him on BBC or Channel 5. So he's talking to a lot of people who are not hardcore boxing fans. So yeah, he paints a fantastic picture. I like that about him. Yeah, there's loads. They're all good. Some are quirky.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and it's very clever. Johnny Nelson, for example, will throw in a ludicrous comment every 6 to 8 weeks, so that he's hoping he goes trending.
Yeah.
Someone says, "What does that Johnny know?"
It does get a lot of stick.
Johnny's pretty safe. He knows his job's always there the following week.
I saw him. He was saying AJ needs to retire now, walk away. But a few people have said that. Would you agree on that one?
I don't want to see the Fury fight.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, maybe he's done more than enough. Do you know what I mean? For Joshua, but. Yeah, you know, I think some people lean into the harsher critics, but I think everyone in broadcasting pretty cool.
Horses for courses out there. Plenty to choose from. Boxing's coming back to BBC. I don't know if you've seen that. Fraser Clark and Jamie TKV fight for the British heavyweight title on the 25th of October in Derby, live on BBC Two.
Yeah, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
This is awesome. I can't believe that it's on BBC Two, which I think is great. I don't know, what the deal and setup is, but it's a good fight.
It's good to be on terrestrial, isn't it?
And it's on terrestrial TV.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, I boxed once on Channel 5 and we did huge viewing figures. Didn't really make much of a difference, I've got to be honest, in terms of getting recognised on the street the following day. But BBC is a different animal. And then if you think about, Audley Harrison, who boxed on the BBC, and others who did before they stopped with their boxing, I'm very excited that they're back in boxing, and it's not BBC iPlayer, which at times can be quite difficult to watch. Yeah. It's BBC Two.
It's actually out
Everyone
there.
can watch it, and if it gets some decent billing, then they can do mega numbers.
Yeah.
And Ben Shalom's, his stable of fighters, a couple of them, potential future stars. Like a Ben Whittaker's already a huge name. I hope that they can marry up the cost it would cost to get these guys on a show and get it on the BBC. But if they do, brilliant.
Yeah. I can't remember if last time we spoke about Jake Paul and Tank, but if we didn't, let's have a quick 2-minute roundup. What's your verdict on that?
Yeah, I think I saw them do the face-off, and I've seen you go on Jake Paul's BoxRec now. He's got a BoxRec, and every fight he's ever had is on BoxRec now. So I didn't know that loads of them were licensed fights. They're all against debutants who ain't boxed before.
Yeah. Well, this one isn't supposedly.
But this one's not. But then they can't get it sanctioned, because if you want it to be a real boxing match, you're gonna have to be remotely close in weight.
Yeah.
I like the clip of Gervonta Davis. He's sort of standing there like this, and then Jake Paul's doing the MMA stuff everything about him. He's just seen on TV or something, he's just seen somewhere else.
Yeah,
it's
stolen,
all
he's biting his style from elsewhere.
Yeah, everything about it is just madness. But yeah, if it's that one be on Netflix as well, is it?
Yeah, that's on Netflix in November.
And Canelo Crawford on Netflix, I thought was exquisite. I thought it was brilliant. I really enjoyed that production.
Well produced, yeah.
Well produced, and great, good for them.
Yeah. There's loads of fights coming up as well. We've got Dave Allen. There's loads of fights this month, so great month for fight fans, and I guess we'll be back next month to talk about it all.
Lovely.
All right, George Groves, once again,
Cheers,
thank you very much. Stay tuned, subscribe, like, comment. We'll see you next time.